Okay, now I think we're live, right?
Okay, terrific. We were just talking about whether you call them dressing rooms or
Fitting rooms.
in Canada they call them change rooms. And Colleen decided that change rooms actually is the most logical name for them since you're changing your clothes.
That does make sense. I mean, it's kind of like the whole parking on a driveway and driving on a parkway.
Well, we're here today with the Kate and Colleen show. My name is Kate Holmes. I'm the web host of Too Good to Be Through, which is the premier site for professional resellers. And you can join us at tgtbt.com. And my cohort and co-pilot and engineer is...
Hi, everyone. I am Colleen Lloyd-Roberts with Monkeys in Hats Digital Marketing Agency. We do websites and mobile apps and digital marketing. So if you have questions about marketing, about e-commerce, about social media, about Facebook, any of that stuff, I am your guru.
Colleen spends a lot of time learning about this and helping shops define their social media. So she's a treasure house of information about social media. But today we're talking about something that's a lot more personal than social media, and that is change rooms, dressing rooms, fitting rooms. I dug up some statistics because, as you know, we like statistics and quotes here on the Kate and Colleen show. What are we doing? Are we showing something?
Hold on a second. This is what walked into my office because I work from home, and this is what walked into my office.
It's a Christmas elf.
Apparently, Richard has got his ugly sweater for our ugly sweater party that we're going to in a few weeks.
That was a pretty ugly hat as well.
I think it all came together. I think it's all attached. Okay, there you go. You never know what's going to pop in on the Kate and Colleen show. So let's get back to talking about change rooms.
Talking about change rooms, dressing rooms, fitting rooms. According to dailymail.com, which is English, female shoppers try on an average of 40,000 articles of clothing in their lifetime. And they purchase just 1 in 7. Can you imagine trying on 40,000 outfits, probably half of which are swimsuits? And customers who try on clothes in fitting rooms have a conversion rate. That means the people who bought what they tried on of 67%. If they don't go into your dressing rooms, if they are not encouraged to go into your dressing rooms, if your dressing rooms don't look appetizing, only 10% of the people who find something will buy it. Shoppers who use the fitting rooms spend 1/3 of their time in your store in your fitting room. So that's why Colleen thought it was a really good idea to talk today about fitting rooms. And she's going to start off with one of her 5 points, and I'm going to interject my 5 points. And altogether, we'll have 10 things for you to do to make your dressing rooms, your fitting rooms, your change rooms be the dollars per square foot star on your selling floor.
I love it. Those are some great statistics. And for everyone, just a little background on me. I have a retail background. I actually went to college, believe it or not. I have a college degree in retail. So this is been in my blood. And then I just added the digital marketing to it because we live in this digital marketing world. But I like to share that so that some people go, why is this digital marketing girl talking about fitting rooms and all these other different things? So that's just a little bit about my background. And fitting rooms, dressing room, changing rooms, whatever you call them, they are the best place to connect with your customers and engage them. You can gauge your emotions. You can make your fitting rooms happy or tranquil or inspirational. So here's a couple ways to do that. Soften up your floor. So everybody has to take their shoes off to change your clothes. So I'm a big fan of fluffy carpeting and fluffy stools and just really softening it all up. Most women dream of a gorgeous closet. So if you can make your fitting rooms as luxurious and like feeling luxurious as possible, they will love that experience. And And again, this is about tapping into those emotions. And I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said, people don't remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. And that is really true. And this is a great opportunity. We probably don't even think about that, but you have this amazing opportunity to make people feel good in your fitting room. And then, of course, keep your guys in mind too. So if you sell merchandise for men, have a guy's fitting room and make it manly, make it, you know, full of testosterone, and make sure that a guy can walk in there and go, wow, this is like really cool. And then if your brand is more like a Gap or it's casual, you know, think about what kind of decor your customers would like. But the whole idea is to, you know, make them comfortable, make them, you know, feel really, really good, not just like a painted room with a mirror in it.
Right. You don't want to make them feel like they're in a phone booth, even if they want to be Superman. Dressing rooms are really where you make your money. One of the things that I think is vital, it's a little bit more esoteric perhaps than you've gotten so far, but the vital thing about dressing rooms is you need to make sure that people look good when they're trying on the things that you are selling in your dressing rooms. And the main thing that's going to make them look good is lighting. I will put in our comments here a link to several articles from lighting experts, from retail experts about lighting. But the main thing to remember with lighting is you must not only light from above, but you must light from in front of. Otherwise, the person's going to be wrinkled. They're going to have funny colors. Their clothes are going to look wrinkled and so on. So lighting is vital. That's my point number one.
Okay, point number one. I thought you were going to say skinny mirrors, but maybe you get onto mirrors later on. But I thought you were going to say the most important thing is skinny mirrors, because who doesn't buy something that makes them look thinner? I totally do. So if you have skinny mirrors, I will be one of those statistics to buy more stuff. Okay, so my next point is about plexiglass sign holders to promote sales, to promote following you on social media, promote your loyalty programs, download your app if you have one, shop online if you have an online e-commerce store, promote that you'll ship items anywhere, ask for reviews. So you have a captive audience here. I mean, people are hanging out, you know, in their underwear, changing their clothes. They got to do something while they're changing their clothes. So this is like really captive right here. And take this opportunity to, you know, it's called the 3 E's. You have the opportunity to engage, entertain, or educate. So when you're in the fitting rooms, you know, ask yourself, which of the 3 E's are present? So maybe in one fitting room, you're going to focus on education, and maybe you educate about body shape and the different body shapes and the different fits of skirts and dresses and pants that look good on those different body shapes. And then maybe another fitting room is your empowering and inspirational fitting room. And then maybe there's another one that's just entertaining. Like they come in here and it's just got great photos, great graphics. It makes them laugh. The most important thing is don't try to do all 3. That is like emotional overkill. So don't do all 3 in one fitting room. Like spread it out a little bit. So that is my next thing. And the plexiglass is really important because raise your hand right now if you have anything taped to your mirrors. OMG, I hate tape. You know that if I've ever come to your store and done a store visit, the first thing I do is rip down anything that's put up with tape, save the tape for the present wrapping, and use nice little 3M. If you have to put something up, nice little 3M makes these great little professional double-sided sticky things. But install some really nice plexiglass sign holders, and then you can change them out as well. So you can easily just change out your signage in the sign holders.
Yeah, if you're going to have signs, certainly be able to change them out. I used to market something called dressing room signs, which were very popular with shopkeepers. They could switch them out every week or two, and they were always kind of fun. They weren't educational. They were just amusing and make you smile. My next point about dressing rooms is you need to go for the comfort. And Colleen's already mentioned, and something nice on the floor so that your bare feet aren't cold or dirty, something nice in your stool. But my big point with comfort in dressing rooms is that I want to be able to not only have a place to hang the 3 or 5 or 15 items that I brought in with me, but of course I want a place to hang my purse. I want a place to hang my clothes. I want a place to put my purse down and my glasses and my shoes and so on. I think it's really, really important for dressing rooms to have good, sturdy hooks that will hold a bunch of things. And my big thing when I go into consultings is that I really think that every dressing room needs to have a short, 8, 10, 12-inch nice sturdy rod, like a clothes rod or a shower rod, mounted on the wall so that you can put those 5 or 15 items there and kind of sort through them a little bit. The rod doesn't need to stick out as far as it would to have a hanger perpendicular to the wall, but it needs to be far enough out that you can put a bunch of things there without having to switch around and hang things on the door of the dressing room and drop things on the floor. Make sure it's comfortable for the person who's taking off her clothes and the person who's trying on a number of clothes.
That is, those are great, great, great ideas. And I love that, especially if you're selling high-end handbags and luxury handbags, and you don't want them to have to put their, gorgeous Celine bag or brand new Chanel bag or Louis, God forbid Louis should go on the floor. So I think that having a great place to put your handbag that's a really, really great touch. Shout out to Tiffany Perry. Hi, Tiffany is watching us. And it says we have several viewers right now. So if you are watching us, just give us a shout out back. If you have questions, comments, share about your fitting rooms. If you have a fitting room win, or do we do a fitting room wall of shame? All right, so I'm gonna give you a fitting room of shame here. This item is please, please, pretty please, don't use your fitting rooms for storage. Like, just do not do it. And I mean, how many of you right now, let's be honest, let's just have a come to Jesus meeting. How many of you have a fitting room that is currently being used for storage? And you say, oh, but it's for overflow. Well, guess what? What kind of message are you sending to your customers if you have one fitting room that you're like, oh, but we never use all 5 fitting rooms. We only use 4 fitting rooms. And so we just use that for overflow. But if you get really busy, do you really take the time to clean out your fitting room to make room? Like, no, you don't, because you're so busy. Who has time for that? So either A, make it a fitting room. Communicate to your customers that we are so busy. We have 5 fitting rooms or 6 fitting rooms or 10 fitting rooms or whatever, however many fitting rooms. If it's a fitting room, it's a fitting room. If it's not, it's a storage closet. So if it's a storage closet, make sure it's got some swinging doors on it or that it looks different than your fitting rooms, and put a little sign on it. And I'm a big fan of the PMA, positive mental attitude. So you can put a little sign up on it, something funny that says, this is our stuff. If you enter in here, you are responsible for organizing and cleaning all of our stuff. Something kind of fun that would make people go like, oh, I don't want to enter in there because I don't want to know how serious they are about like holding me accountable for having to deal with their stuff. So please, please, please just, don't do the no admittance thing. Don't do the employees only thing. Like, just put a nice sign up, but make sure it distinctively looks different than your other fitting rooms so that it's clearly like a stuff closet. A stuff closet. There you go.
Can I stick in my point 2.5 and then go on to point 3?
Yes.
2.5 is related to what you're talking about space that's not being used currently for a dressing room. A lot of people do need 5 dressing rooms on a Saturday. They do not need 5 dressing rooms on a Monday morning. And a wonderful, wonderful solution to that situation is to make 1 or 2 or more of your dressing rooms be able to be used as display space. Depending on how deep your walls are, what type of covering you use, whether it's a curtain or swinging doors or a half door, or whatever you're using, you can take that unused, unoccupied, let's put it that way, dressing room and turn it into display space. You've got your mirror there, put a two-way in there, make that a little mini department. You know, it can be on Monday mornings, it can be your lingerie department. On Saturday afternoons, you rip it out and you use it as a dressing room. So that's 0.52A that I just thought about while Colleen was talking about it.
Okay, well, I have 0.25A. 2.5A or 2.6. So my point 2.6 is going to be, I love that idea. Didn't think of that. But also you could even open up the fitting room and just move a mannequin there and maybe put the mannequin like half in, half out of the fitting room and use that as just like an extra little display space. So I super love that idea. And Tiffany Perry, shout out. She says, hi ladies, fabulous as always. Thank you very much. And Alice Sevier is saying, our 5 fitting rooms were big. Each had a grid rack to hang clothes on one wall, which is awesome.
Yeah, grid panel.
A grid panel and a huge mirror on the other wall with inspirational sayings on each mirror. Each room had a tower fan also and 2 chairs. Wow. Oh my God, Alice, you could like, I think you could move in there and like live in there. That sounds like a giant, I don't know what a tower fan is, but it sounds really cool.
Super important because Alice's shop was plus size. And being plus size myself, I know that if I get overheated, I don't want to try anything on. First of all, because it's uncomfortable for me, and second of all, because I'm afraid that I'm going to damage the clothing in the store. So if you are selling to plus size women, be sure that your dressing rooms are, you know, to the max, wonderful, comfortable for somebody of considerable size. I'm going on to point 3 now because Tiffany's there, and I want to be sure to shout something out to Susie in return. My third point is to give some personality to your dressing rooms. We were at a wonderful, wonderful dressing room in a NARTS bus tour one time. That the shop was incredible. The shop's dressing rooms were numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snore. Give some personality to your dressing rooms. One of the ones that I love to do with dressing rooms is to actually have different names on them. You can do a poem. I took that Apache blessing. May the sun bring you energy. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries and the breeze blow strength into your being. So the dressing rooms were literally sun, moon, rain, and breeze. You know, so that was a way to do it. Another way of doing it is to use different dressing room colors. And that's great, especially if you've got a very bright, primary, vibrant store branding going. You know, you can have a red and a green and a blue and a purple dressing room, and that makes it easy to say, I put your items in the purple room. Or do you want to go red today, or are you more in a green mood? Something fun, some personality to it. You can use flowers, the rose room, the orchid room, the lily room, things of that sort. But what I wanted to say is Susie Panetta has 3 dressing rooms, and each one are decorated accordingly, and they are Elvis, Audrey Hepburn, and Barbie. Now, is that fun or is that not fun?
No,
You're not going to find that in the corporate atmosphere. Play up your shop local, shop small, small town. Play that up in your dressing rooms as well. I also saw some dressing rooms once which were wonderful. There were 3 in a row that you could see, you know, against a wall. Each one of them had a mirror in it. Each one of them had an oval mirror, but they were different oval mirrors that they had found in other resale shops, different curtains that coordinated but were different rugs, different seating spaces. So they were kind of separate but equal dressing rooms. And again, that gives people something to talk about, something to remember your shop by. Don't be shy. I mean, it's like having a guest bath in your house. You know, you can do all sorts of weird things. You can put in a black sink and bold wallpaper. Same thing holds true for your dressing rooms in your store. That's point 3.
I love those ideas. I hope that's point 4 because I only have 1 more point left.
Oh, I have 2 more.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay. So anyway, but adding on to that, as I was sitting here, I was also thinking about how you could do, you know, make sure you do fitting, like a fitting room for kids if it's appropriate. If you sell kids clothes, like have a fitting room maybe that's got some kid stuff in it or that's kind of kid-like. I know a couple stores, Better Than Before in Alabama has an entire children's department and has its own dedicated children's fitting rooms, which are so freaking adorable. And so make sure that you have little kid size stuff too. And another great thing that I've seen before is just like a little basket of toys that can be taken into the fitting room. So if the mom goes into the fitting room, there's like a little basket of toys that can go with the mom. So the kid has something to, the child has something to play with in the fitting room. And shout out to Judy. Judy, thanks for joining us. You know, Judy, I thought about all of our furniture people this week and I thought, okay, this is not very fitting for furniture people. So I promise you, Judy, we're going to do a dedicated furniture show on a furniture topic coming up in the future to make up for it. But I don't know, maybe there's some crazy little idea that you get out of what we're talking about today. And so my fifth and final point is to put your store name and your hashtag on your fitting rooms. This is not my brilliant idea. I wish I could say it was, but this actually is from Melissa Morales. She did it in her store, and I thought it was amazing. A lot of women take photos of themselves when they are in the fitting room. So they take a photo and we put it up online. We're like, oh my God, you have to check this out. Or the big thing is to send it to your friends. And so just putting your hashtag and putting your mirror or putting your business name and not your logo. I don't say put your logo because logos are sometimes harder to read, but actually get little vinyl letters. And what I would recommend is creating the vinyl letters on a computer, sending it off to Staples or Office Max, and they will print it off in a vinyl with a sticky backing. And the reason I say that is if you go down to your local hardware store and just buy the individual letters and do it yourself, like they just are not going to look as nice and they're not going to be even. And unless you're like amazingly talented and you want it to look really, really professional. So the name of your store and your hashtag as well. And people will see that in every single video or photo. You know what? I do have another one. So you go. I just forgot to mark it. So you're up next. And then I have
I thought you had 5. My fourth point is to make your dressing room seasonal. If you use curtains, switch them out. If you use slip covers on the stools in your dressing room, switch them out with the seasons. Don't make it boring. You can even use, for instance, travel posters on the walls of your dressing rooms. If you're promoting resort wear, the minute Christmas stops is the time for resort wear to go up. So get some of those travel posters from your local travel agency friends. They will be more than delighted for you to tell people that they are there. Travel agencies have a really tough time in bricks and mortar. So they'd be more than thrilled to give you some posters to promote that. Put some garland around the mirrors. Change out one wall of the colors. That's a fun way too. If you don't feel like you need to paint your dressing rooms 4 times a year, you do need to paint them at least once a year. But if you don't want to do it 4 times a year, use one accent wall and paint it, bittersweet for fall and royal blue for winter, and whatever for spring and summer. Do something that makes your dressing rooms look new and fresh and clean and appropriate for what people are trying on. There's nothing worse than trying on a sundress when you've got an olive green dressing room. As a matter of fact, let's talk for a second about colors for dressing rooms. I've heard, I don't know, Colleen, whether you've heard this or not, that peacock blue is the most flattering color to reflect upon people of all complexions and all colors. Have you heard that? Peacock blue is kind of a slightly greenish, bright blue.
No, I haven't heard that, but it's not to say it's not true, but I've just never heard that. No, because I don't even know how there could be one color that fits all, because you know, everyone's hair color. Like I have a girlfriend who's like really, really famous. She does everyone's color. She works with celebrities, but it goes off your hair type. It goes off your hair color. It doesn't go after your complexion. So with, I guess with all of that information, I'm kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't know there was a paint color. So I don't
When you
know.
get a chance, ask her next time. Maybe you'll come back and tell us what her answer is, because I'm not a color expert. Okay, your last point is?
Okay, my last point before I give it is I want to shout out to Jennifer Harrison from Flair Trade, who's just joined us. And Jennifer, make sure that you go back and watch the video, at least the first few minutes over it, because Kate gives awesome statistics that I know you will really, really be interested in because you're that kind of girl. So go back and watch it on demand, the first few minutes of it. Okay, so the other thing I have is, and actually Jennifer does this at her store, and I'm sure a lot of you watching do this, but to have a little, some kind of thing on the fitting room where you can write the person's name on it. I mean, people love to see their names, hear their names. If you ever read that book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I mean, he says you're supposed to use a person's name like 10 times in a conversation or something. I forget what the number is, but people love to hear their names. They love to see their name. That's why the selfie is the #1 photo on social media. And so personalize your fitting rooms. I do believe it also does a little bit for theft. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but when somebody knows that you know their name and they're in a fitting room and you write their name down. The other thing is I would love to recommend that you take this one step further and below their name, just write like Florida vacay or family reunion or high school reunion, or like write the purpose of why they're in their store. Like they're going on a date or they have a job interview. And what that does is it helps the other sales staff to engage with that person and ask them more questions about, oh, I see you have a high school reunion coming up. Like, what year is it? Or what, you know, it's a great conversation piece. And somebody else, another sales staff might get another idea. They might say, you know, oh my gosh, like I really want to share this with you, or, you know, this will look great at your high school reunion. You're going to knock them out of their socks or something like that. So I love the idea of going one step further. So here's their name on the fitting room and then the reason they're shopping. And if your fitting rooms do not have a door or some solid place to put a sign, you can actually create your own. You get a long piece of chain link from the hardware store, and then you can actually put a hole through a little chalkboard or put a hole through a whiteboard, and you can hang it, and you can do it in a way that you can make it look really nice. So I just want to say that if you use curtains, there are a lot of different ways to still be able to have a chalkboard or something so you can personalize your fitting rooms.
Very good. Fantastic. I love that idea of writing down what she's trying on and for why, because not only that, but eavesdropping customers will come by and they go, oh, you're going on a first date. Are you going to thus and such? Or, oh, I went to my high school reunion and the best thing I learned about going to high school reunions is, you know, and you get that whole conversation, that whole social, in real life, social media going in your shop. And that's the main thing I think that bricks and mortars has that social media doesn't, is you've got real people to react to. And my final point about dressing rooms is to make them effective. If they are trying on a dress for that first date and they're wearing their sneaks because they just came from exercise class, that dress is not going to look good. Make sure that you've got some black slide, some neutral slide shoes. They are mules for people to slip into so they can get a feel for what the outfit's going to look like. Make sure that you've got at least some of your accessories near the dressing room so you can whip off the right necklace, the right belt, the right scarf to go with whatever it is she's wearing. That needs to be your stock and trade right there. Make sure there's a three-way mirror nearby somewhere. If there's no way that you can find space for a three-way or that you can afford a three-way, at least have a nice sizable vanity mirror that they can look at themselves behind like that. And it's always fun to take that vanity mirror and make it look fun and full of ribbons and roses and things of that sort. Make sure there's a place for the companion with that person to sit. We all know that when you go into a bridal shop, there's a couch for the mother-in-law, et cetera, et cetera. Well, companion seating at dressing rooms is a good idea, even if you're not selling something as important as a bridal gown, because you certainly want that companion to not make the trier on her feel rushed. She needs to look out and see that her companion is happily engaged in reading Sports Illustrated or looking through your shop scrapbook or playing with his phone, whatever. But make sure that your dressing rooms, most of all, are effective, because remember, as we said at the beginning of this video, dressing rooms are where you make your money if you're selling clothes. And as Colleen said, we did hesitate to talk about just dressing rooms today because not all of our viewers are selling clothing. So I think next week what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 ways to make your sales counter more effective. And I think hopefully we all have a sales counter or a sales procedure or something of that sort. And we're going to talk next week about 10 ways to make more money just by the time that person stands in front of you, ready to pay for whatever it is he or she's already selected.
Yes. Okay. So before you say that, I have to give like one more idea for the fitting room because I forgot to mention this and it's really good. So I have seen this in Cynthia Riley in Closet Revival, has the most adorable little space in her store next to the fitting rooms. And it's got this little kid carpet. So it's one of those carpets that has like a little road and stuff and things on the carpet. And then there's a little shelf with some toys, but the other thing is it has like, I think there's 3 or 4 chairs and some different magazines to look at. And then Modeo Resale up in Vancouver has some chairs right out front of the fitting room, but they even go the extra mile to put men's magazines in there, and they have a little man's snack box. So when a man comes in and he's sitting there, they can offer it, and it's for men only. They bring out the little snack box, and a man can have a little snack, and they're collecting the men's email addresses so they can send them an email address to remind them to buy gift certificates for the holiday season or whatever. So those are my final ideas. And
wonderful, wonderful ideas.
Next week, we're all about the counter space. Thank you everyone for joining us again. If you're just tuning in, we have Patty, we have Kimberly on with us. Please go back and watch the beginning because Kate has some great statistics that she talks about at the very launch of our show. And don't I look skinnier, everyone? I just got my new Peloton bike today and I did my very first bike ride. So I know I feel skinny because one ride, is worth 20 pounds.
The ultimate consumer. What can I tell you?
I know. All right. So next week, I promise, hair and makeup. And I was so excited. We were so excited to get our bike today. And I had to jump on it and do a ride. And it was really cool. Anyway, Santa came early to our household this year. So I was really excited. So thank you for joining us. Kate, any final words?
Final words, final words. Everybody take a look at your dressing rooms. Decide if you want to get naked in there. Decide if you would enjoy getting naked in there. Decide if you would actually share with a friend on social media that you were getting naked in this wonderful dressing room. And if the answer to any of that is no, start working on it a little bit. Dressing rooms are small, just like guest bathrooms. You can do a lot with them without a lot of money. I hope to see you post on our comments here some dressing room redos. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us, and I'm sorry I didn't call this show Let's Get Naked. I should have thought of that. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye now.